Hello guys, it's good to see you all again and welcome back to a brand new video where we learn all about Genji, the Cyber Ninja. To start things off, all I have to say is, he's a Cyber Ninja, so he can climb walls and stuff like any other ninja would do. No, let's be serious about this. Let's really start with Genji shurikens. Genji's full shuriken capacity is 24 and he throws them in sets of 3. Therefore you can use them 8 times. Each shuriken does 28 damage, so if you hit all 3 shurikens in one toss, you can deal up to 84 damage. However, it does not stop there. If you headshot all 3 shurikens, you can double the damage, as all headshot multipliers are times by 2. Therefore, you can deal up to 168 in one toss, which is incredible, and can even kill a tracer, as her health pool is 150. The fan works the same, but obviously you can't hit the same target as it fans out in a vector-like shape. However, the fire rate of the fan is twice as fast as of the straight shuriken toss. I'm going to leave deflect until last and you'll see why later on. Dragon Blade, which is Genji's ultimate ability, is extremely effective in the sense that you can swing once every second, which deals 120 damage each time. This is not including Genji's Swift Strike, which deals 50 damage with a 15 meter range at 8 second cooldown. However, there is a little trick with Genji, as after every elimination Genji receives, it resets the Swift Strike's cooldown, regardless of the way the enemy is eliminated. Also, take into consideration that you're not limited to horizontal movement with Swift Strike. You can also use this vertically if you need to. Anyway, let's get back to the ultimate, the Dragon Blade. This lasts for 8 seconds and Genji can also swing once every second for 120 damage, meaning that he can deal up to 960 damage just from right clicks, if every swing connects. A good thing to note is that you can double Swift Strike, as casting Genji's ultimate ability resets the cooldown, so you can dash into a fight, activate the ulti, and dash around again with no cooldown. Moving on to my opinion Genji's most unique and best ability. This is his Deflect, which can also be casted during his ult. Deflect lasts for 2 seconds and has an 8 second cooldown and reflects most things right back at the enemy. My favourite is when Bastion tries to take you down and you reflect a minigun's worth of ammo right back at that stationary piece of shit. Note that while Deflect will ward off any projectile shots that come in Genji's way, this skill will not prevent melee attacks, beams or channeled weapons from striking you. Anyway, here's the interesting part about this ability. Genji can also deflect many ultimate abilities, if timed correctly. Although this is hard to master, it is extremely worth learning because you can turn a high noon into a high five to McCree's face.
We're going to start with McCree and his ultimate Deadeye. Of course, you guys know that for this, he locks onto a number of targets, and when you fire, it's an instant kill. But if Genji deflects the bullet before it lands, you can actually give McCree a taste of his own medicine. And as a bit of bonus information, you can also deflect his flashbang. Moving over to Pharah, her ultimate barrage rains down rockets on the enemy. And once again, yes, you can deflect this right back at her and take her out in the process. Also, again, while we're here, bonus bit of information, you can also block her concussive blast too. Next up you have Reaper. Now Reaper is an interesting one because his ultimate, Death Blossom, shoots bullets in a 360 degree circle. So, while you're obviously able to block the shots, you're only ever actually going to block the ones that come straight at you, meaning it usually won't be enough to kill him outright. But of course, you could always follow straight up with a Swift Strike to finish the job. Now Soldier 76 is a pretty simple one, as his ultimate just adds the lock-on ability to his bullets, so once again, this is a definite on the deflect side of things. However, if you want to guarantee a kill, you'll want to make sure you activate your deflect ability once he begins shooting you. If you do it too soon, you'll finish before his ultimate does, and you'll then just end up dead. And finally, you have Tracer and her ultimate Pulse Bomb. For this, she throws a large bomb that sticks to surfaces and explodes after a brief delay. But the key bit of information here is that she throws the bomb, meaning there's a window to deflect. If you deflect the bomb as she throws it, it'll turn it hostile to her, and instead of hurting you when it explodes, it'll hurt her. Next up, moving over to the defense heroes, starting with Bastion. This is a pretty straightforward one. When he turns into tank mode, you can of course deflect the tank blasts, but given his slow fire rate, you'll only have time to block one, meaning you likely won't be able to kill him with a single deflect. As for Junkrat's Riptire, that is a straight nope, but you can deflect his concussion mine if he throws it at you. Now Torbjorn's Molten Core ult simply powers up him and his turrets, and while yes, you can block projectiles from his turrets, they will last much longer than your deflectable. So again, for this one, while it's technically speaking a yes, it's not something I'd advise simply because you'll likely end up dead. Moving over to Mei, this one is actually pretty cool and applies the same logic we used with Tracer. Mei's ult, Blizzard, throws a small projectile that slows people caught in the area of effect. But if you block the projectile as she throws it, it again turns it hostile and it will instead hurt her. And finally, for the defense heroes, this is probably my favourite one out of the lot, Hanzo's Dragon Strike. While you quite obviously can't deflect the dragons, what you need to remember is that there's a small window where Hanzo fires an arrow before they turn into dragons. And yep, you guessed it, if you deflect the arrow during this small window, it'll then turn the dragons right around back at Hanzo. Bear in mind the way that the ult works, of course the arrow turns into the dragon. Chances are you won't hit Hanzo with the full thing, you'll likely hit him with the end of the dragon, so it might not kill him, but if his team is behind him, it would certainly be a pain for them. Now with the defense heroes out of the way, let's talk tank. First up, D.Va, well you definitely can't deflect the self-destruct, not even if it's coming towards you, so that is a solid nope. As for Reinhardt, you also can't deflect his Earth Shatter, as it's not a projectile, so you'll just get stunned and slapped around. However, you can deflect his Fire Strike right back at him. Roadhog, on the other hand, his Whole Hog move knocks enemies back, and if you deflect them, it'll instead have the reverse effect and knock him back. And while it won't kill him, it will definitely get him out of your face. As for Winston, this is an interesting one. You can actually deflect his punches when he comes at you with his Primal Rage. You won't hurt him in doing so, and you'll still get knocked back, but it will prevent you from taking damage, so it could be handy if he rushes you and tries to pin you in a corner. And then finally, you have Zarya and her ultimate, Graviton Search, which launches a gravity bomb that draws in the enemy. But in order to do this, she has to first fire a projectile. And if it's a projectile, you guessed it, you can also deflect that. And that is pretty much it.
So with some great help from a Rex Gaming video explaining this, we can elaborate on just how good Genji really is. Although it seems easy, timing is key, and is also hard to learn. But that is why Genji is such an easy hero to learn, but such a rewarding character to master. But that wraps it all up for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe for more, and go check out Rex's channel. His channel will be in the link in the description below if you want to see some awesome content.